All right, welcome everyone to episode 9 of the Fanatics, a college football betting show. We got quite the crew here. We got a lot to talk about. We got somebody fighting their Jordan flu game for this podcast. We got a lot of stuff going on, but hey, we're going to give you a great show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get right to it. My name is Kyle Comas, and joining me, we have the Gabacho Borracho soccer guy, the Nebraska man himself. We got Mr. Corey Adair. And we got the host of the Play Me or Fade Me podcast. We got Mr. Action Junkie. And Mr. Action Junkie, as I said before, is fighting his Jordan flu game to be on this podcast. So we appreciate his dedication to do the podcast while he's sick. But fellas, how are we doing? We're on to week 8 now of college football. How are we doing?
We're doing pretty good. We coming off a bye week. Last week was, they'd been making memes and jokes about if somebody tries to invite you to a fall wedding on October 12th to make your plans now to be sick, and I'm not gonna, the whole weekend was just awesome. That was an awesome weekend of football. Sickos committee all the way to the top tier game, the game of the week. That was an amazing football game. So can't complain. Once again, the traditionalist that I am when it comes to college football, seeing a matchup like Oregon, Ohio State in the regular season, you'd think would make my skin crawl, but it lived up to it. That was awesome, dude. For Ohio State to get to go play in Austin like that's great. So fun week. Looking forward to Indiana this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Action, I know you're a little under the weather today, but other than that, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I echo Corey's sentiments. It was a good weekend of college football. I mean, I got to sit in the hotel on Saturday night, watch the end of that LSU game against Ole Miss, got to watch the end of the Oregon-Ohio State game, two very good football games. But I just got done watching the ranking show, and boy, Ohio State needs to get a quality win. That game at Penn State now becomes a really, really big game for the Buckeyes. So for as easy as a 12-team playoff is in one way, you start to get to 2 losses here, you better get some marquee wins too, even if you're in Ohio State.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say too, with the playoff, one of those rankings come out. That's got to come out next week sometime, doesn't it? Do we know?
Yeah, I mean, so it's what, week 7? Yeah, it comes out week 8, doesn't it?
And then we're going to have a really good feel for things.
Well, I was going to say it is week 8 right now, is it not?
5-1.
Yeah, this is technically week 8 now. Yeah, last week was week 7.
I would think
Tuesday night. Actually, the next time we record then, because they drop them on Tuesdays.
Okay, so after week 8, you're saying, so week 9 they'll have the ratings.
I'm saying that when we record again next week this time, they should be like dropping them either right before we record at the same time like it usually was last year. I'm pretty sure.
We're going to do some on-air research here because now I'm curious.
Well, ESPN already had the preview show tonight using the AP poll to go through the 12, and I do think they alluded to the fact that next week they'll have real numbers for this particular show.
Okay, very, very good then. I had a heart attack for a second there because that's one of the things that we always do on the show is we always talk about the college football playoff rankings. I'm like, if I missed that, that's a huge miss on my part. But thankfully, I didn't miss it. We're good. We can forget all about that. But yeah, next week, like Corey said, we will have college football playoff rankings. We can talk about that. So I know it's your off week next week, Corey, but that's a great week to come back on back to back, I think.
We'll see. If the weekend goes right, I might just be a little bit too excited to miss next week. Let's put it that way.
That's fair. But yeah, like Corey said, just from the bottom of the barrel game, like people didn't think Illinois, Purdue was going to live up to the hype, and that was a hell of a game. And then just like you said, from the top game on down, just everything lived up to the hype. It was a great week of college football, so I'm really excited for another week. Let's just dive right into it. We got a lot to talk about here. Let's get started with the trivia question of the week, and there's only 2 of you, so we'll see how you guys do. But I got to thinking about this question as I was watching Ashton Jeanty play this weekend against Hawaii. He currently is on pace to beat Barry Sanders' single season rushing record right now. That's the kind of season he's had. So anybody who doesn't think he's a front runner for the Heisman just doesn't know ball. I'll just throw that little echo out there. But I got to thinking about that. So my trivia question for you is this. What group of 5 running back has the most rushing yards in a career? So of all the group of 5 schools, what running back has the most rushing yards in a career? Now, I will give you this hint. It was a running back that did it in the 2010s. So
Hold up, is this a current group of 5 school?
yes.
It has not changed conferences.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So when they played, they were a group of 5 school, and they are still a group of 5 school. So I will give you time to think about that while I do our ad read. The Fanatics College Football Betting Show is partnered with Better Edge. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace that is legal in 45 states and operates like a marketplace. If you're wondering how that works, let's use the Alabama-Tennessee game being played this weekend. One person on the platform likes Alabama money line and places $10 on that line. Another person on the platform likes Tennessee money line and place $10 on that line. Boom, you now got an exchange because it's person to person and not person to sportsbook, and that's what makes it legal in 45 different states. You know, a lot of sports books, they're going to have really juiced lines and the spreads and over-unders, and it makes it harder to bet. But at Better Edge is minus 100, plus 100. You get a much higher payback as a user. They also have several different competitions such as Battle Royale, Survivor, Chaser, a lot of things to keep things competitive for the users. And it also incorporates social media. So people can go on the platform, post their picks in their timeline, and then users can go and see their picks and fade them to create an order or ride with them and hope another order gets created. But they just have it all. We love Better Edge here at the network. Go to their website, www.betteredge.com. Use promo code Kyle, Corey, Pace, PlayMe. Any of those promo codes, you get $20 added to your account. You put money in, you get more money added. That's what's great about that platform. www.betteredge.com. So, gentlemen, my trivia question for you is, what group of 5 running back has the most career rushing yards? And it was a running back that did it in the 2010s. So we'll see how you guys know your group of 5 running backs. But Action, we'll start with you. Who do you think it is?
I was hoping this was going to be the same trivia question you used on the podcast last night, because I would have been ready for that one. The 2010s is I'm drawing a blank because I really wanted to. There was a kid at Northern Illinois, like late 2000 or 2008, 2010 range, but I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank, so I'm going to have to do a pass on this one and hope Corey can bail me out because I no clue.
Okay. Corey, who do you think it is?
I'm gonna go with that kid. That was Garrett Wolf, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that kid because I was gonna go Kevin Smith, and that's not a Group 5 school anymore. So, because he did it at UCF, but I
would have gone LT from TCU before they were Power 5, but that was eliminated.
Yeah, Mr. 403, I think it was. Yeah. But yeah, so I'll go Garrett Wolf.
Okay, sounds good. Well, this running back again did in the 2010s. He rushed for a career total 6,405 rushing yards. And actually, you guys did not get it. It was San Diego State running back Donnell Pumphrey.
No, never. I was never going to get that.
Never going to get it?
Never going to get that.
Did he even play in the NFL? I don't even remember him.
I've been doing fantasy football for a while, and he's never been fantasy relevant. I'll put it that way.
Listen, San Diego State for the longest time had a great run of running backs. They had Rashad Penny. Who else do they have? They had Pumphrey, obviously. They had a great run there of running backs, and yeah, he was their big one. He did it in, from 2013 to 2016.
They had Marshall Falk. That's the only running back at San Diego State I can remember.
There was a running back. His last name was Salam. Was he a Colorado or was he San Diego State?
That was Colorado.
Okay, I thought so. I almost said it, and then I would have felt stupid if I would have been wrong. So I'm glad I didn't say.
No, that was their 89. Is 89 Heisman Trophy winner or 91?
Sean Salam, right? Yeah. Then he went to the Bears, didn't he? Played there for quite a long time.
Yeah, but he never came close to reaching what he did in college.
Yeah. Well, that's a trivia question for you. If you're listening, if you're watching this at home, I am curious if you got that one right, and I might even do a survey of the network and see if anybody gets that one right. Because I thought that might have been an easier one, but you guys tell me it's pretty tough. I'm kind of curious how difficult of a question that was. So I might do a little survey here.
Oh, dude, just do a litmus test. Go straight to the top. Go to B-Russ. Just say, B-Russ, you got, you have no time to look this up. Answer this question. And if he gets it, then, it's a good question. Then you start working your way down and see where it goes from there.
I was going to say, fun fact. So you talked about B-Russ. Obviously, if you watch the Gambling Feud trivia contest, you'll know he was the leading points per game with 8. Second place in the league on this show right now. Mr. Action Junkie, second in the league in points per game.
I do want to take a note, though. I only got questions right involving coaches. I don't think I ever got a player name right. I'm just bad at player names.
Yeah, you've impressed a lot of people at the network with your coaches knowledge. I will say that.
Yeah. Other than that, it's this kid. He's 6'5". He's like 240. That's about all I can know about a kid.
That's fair. But all right, gents. Well, hey, before we get to diving in about week 8 and our snake draft, let's talk about week 7 really quick. Like you all have alluded to, we had even the bottom of the barrel games were really good, and the top of the line games that everybody was talking about all lived up to the hype. So let's just go through any games or anything really that stands out to you, anything you want to talk about. Corey, we'll start with you. Who do you think it is?
Well, I mean, we can start at the top. I already kind of talked about it. That Ohio State Oregon game. I cut myself off on purpose because I didn't want to go too much into that. But I think the Big Ten, by adding Oregon, I think they really solidified themselves at the top tier echelon of like the top half schools in your conference having the best game day environments. You throw in there Penn State. Now you have Oregon. Ohio State's a great atmosphere. The Big House, while it might not be the loudest, it's still the Big House. Kinnick, I think, is one of the most underrated game day atmospheres for big games. Memorial Stadium, I don't think gets enough credit for. Like you start looking through Camp Randall, like I'm missing Camp Randall on all of this. You get to the point where the top half of the conference, you start looking at that and it's daunting. Like it's so hard to play at those places. Give Ohio State a lot of credit, in my opinion. I think that was a pretty good showing. As in all reality, they probably should have won that game. At the end of the game, they probably should have won that. They kind of screwed themselves over. Purdue's offense waking up was kind of fun. Iowa really, putting themselves past their record at 4-2. Like that was a pretty good win against a above average Washington team. I don't know. The Big Ten's wide open. The top's pretty clear. Oregon's at the top, but you start getting below Penn State and it starts getting real murky real quick.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, for sure. Action, we'll go to you. What really stood out to you last week?
I got a lot of comments. Number one, I was all excited for Cam Rising to come back, and I wish I wouldn't have been. So that was Heartbreak Hotel. Number two, I never expected the gap between Texas and Oklahoma to be so great. Number three, I'm still not sold on Penn State even after they win at USC. I still don't know what to think about that game. Georgia underwhelmed. Alabama underwhelmed. Tennessee underwhelmed. LSU, Brian Kelly finds a way to get it done. They beat Ole Miss. That was a good W. Let me see. My other comment would be, I guess that was it.
Okay. Yeah, that was a lot to talk about. I did have one of those things in my notes that I wanted to talk about too. There's a possibility that Cam Rising might come back for an 8th season. Like I've been an active supporter of Cam Rising. You guys know that, but my God, that guy needs to get a job. 8 years. Holy cow. Like, yeah.
I'll agree. Get a job. I mean, well, for your own health at a certain point, like why keep playing a sport if it just keeps putting you, in the hospital, literally. At this point, you're probably not an NFL quarterback, maybe a backup, but I mean, at a certain point, you guys start thinking about your own health, and you're getting pretty old to be playing college football, bud.
But his nil money could be strong. But if they rushed him back, obviously now at first I was like, they're just slow playing this. But what I saw the other night was like, okay, they must have rushed him back. because if not, his Neal money should be going down. He should be taking a pay cut next year for his 8th year. That was just painful to watch. I had money on Utah, so it was really painful to watch.
And I will say though, with Rising likely, it sounds like being out for the rest of the season. Utah, in my opinion, is no longer the front runner in the Big 12 because Isaiah Wilson just is nowhere near Cam Rising, and he's shown that in multiple games. Now, one team that has shown how good they are, and it absolutely kills me to say it as a Hawkeye fan, Iowa State's looking damn good this year. They have a top 10 defense in the country, allowing only 12.6 points per game. They're scary on offense, too. They have 32.6 points per game. And if the Cyclones continue on this winning trend, a Big 12 championship's not out of the picture, in my opinion. I know they have a tougher slate going on here, but they had a pretty tough couple of games there, and they've overcome it. So I'm impressed with Iowa State. I had them over. If you listen to the college football preview I did on Play Me or Fade Me with Mr. Action Junkie, I had Iowa State as my winner of the Big 12, and I think they're starting to prove it now. So I don't know. I'm really impressed with how Iowa State's been so far this year.
When and where is Farmageddon?
Ooh, yeah. That's a good question. Let's take a look at that, Corey.
That's what I want to know, because that was before we moved on to next week. I did want to bring up that Colorado K-State game.
That Farmageddon's in Ames this year. So
is it Ames?
Yeah, it's in Ames this year.
Ooh, yeah. That's going to be the marquee Big 12 game of the year.
Oh, for sure. That could very well be those two teams seeing each other 2 straight weeks if it continues the way it's going.
Is it right? That's last week of the year.
It's the last week of the year.
Yeah. Checks out. I mean, that's gonna be a hell of a game. That's gonna be a hell of a game. And we can't talk about last week without bringing up Avery Johnson doing the dance in the end zone. Yep. How ballsy is that? First quarter, first touchdown. You just tied it 7-7. He comes out. I don't know what Prime's dance is called, but does it right in the end zone of Colorado and at Folsom Field.
It was like a high step, isn't it? Isn't that what
yeah. He did that. He had that rushing touchdown to tie it up 7s, early in the first quarter, and does the high step right in their end zone.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude. It was fucking great. And, people in the group chat wanted to talk about it not being a rivalry game. Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty bitter with Kansas State not covering the -4. I know action got him first half and money line. They didn't cover full game for me, so I'm pretty bitter with Kansas State right now.
I'm pretty bitter though too, because I had a whale play in our other group chat, so
yeah,
that kind of hurt me quite a bit there. Kansas State's still going to win the Big 12 when it's all said and done. But Kyle, I do feel for you as an Iowa fan, because Iowa State, one of the few programs of all time at the same point to be ranked in the top 10 in college basketball, men's and women's, plus football right now. So the Cyclone athletic director has got to be a happy camper.
I'll say thanks for sharing that, Action. Appreciate that.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know that as a Hawkeye.
Oh, I've had Iowa State fans chirping me all day, believe me. But yeah, no, I'm impressed, and I can't really go without saying it. But yeah, I really just want to talk about the Oregon-Ohio State finish and just your thoughts. What your thoughts were. So obviously, if you didn't watch the end of the game, Will Howard ended up with about 10 seconds to go. He scrambled, tried to get a first down. He slid with a second left. They did not have enough time to call a timeout, and that's how Oregon won the game. So what were you guys' thoughts about that? Do you think he was smart for just trying to get yards, and like he obviously didn't look at the clock because there was bad clock management there, but if nobody was open, he was just trying to do what he could, but obviously didn't do it quick enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was a total screw up on Will Howard. I've seen quarterbacks do that before in big moments. Colt McCoy almost did it in the 2009 Big 12 championship game. I think when you get to that level and you've been through enough high pressure situations, you learn and teach yourself to slow down a little bit in those moments because you have more time than you think you do. And I think he just he screwed the pooch because they definitely had an opportunity. All he has to do is drop down 2 yards earlier and call the timeout as he's sliding to the ground, and they get a field goal opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were well within range of doing something there on a field goal chance. But yeah, I put that on him. I hear Dan Lanning trying to claim that he did it all on purpose, had the 12th guy on the field and shit like that.
Yep.
So, maybe I don't know. I don't know if I believe him, but
Yeah.
Kyle, my first reaction is I think it was deja vu. If I remember right, Kansas State at Oklahoma State last year, just before halftime, Howard did something similar. So Kansas State didn't get points right before halftime.
Right.
So it's like, I feel like I've seen the script before, and the clock management skills there were not the best. And that was maybe a personal surprise because I was like, boy, I feel like he was coached on this last year and he did it again.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But that game lived up to the hype. Obviously, Alabama was a 2-point conversion away from potentially losing to South Carolina. That was crazy. Georgia barely held on to below average, probably the worst SEC team. Like you guys said, just from top down, great football last week. If you missed football last week, you were missing out. So. All right, well, gents, that was good talk about week 7. Let's dive into week 8. If you haven't tuned in before, we're going to do a 5-round betting snake draft. So there's 3 of us in the panel, so you're going to get 15 picks. Everybody in the panel must have a full game spread, a money line, an over-under, a team total, and a first half play. And then the higher they put them in their rankings, the higher they are unit-wise. So round 1 is worth 5 units. Round 2 is worth 4. Round 3 is worth 3. Round 4 is worth 2. Round 1 is worth 1. So I will really quick go through the standings for last week. And Mr. Action Junkie won last week with a 3-2 plus 5.13 unit day. Pace came in second with a 4-1 and plus 3.72 unit day. I won't say what me and VFC did, but I'll just say, Action, you're not alone. You are not alone in what you claim to be one of the worst showings in the show's history. You are not alone. So just know that we're having a support group every Wednesday night over Zoom. So if you're interested, just let me know. We'll get you that invite and we'll talk about that. But yeah, you're not alone in that. So just note that. But anyways, that was the past. We're gonna worry about now. We got a great week ahead. We did the order before the show started. It's gonna go Action, Corey, myself. I will have back-to-back, then it'll go back to Corey in Action, and it'll continue to snake until we all have 5 plays. So, gents, if we're ready, let's get right to it. Action, you have the number 1 overall pick. You can't get a pick stolen from you this week. Your top pick cannot get stolen from you. So where are you going?
Yeah, I've been trying to judge the conversation here to see if I needed to go to the game right away between Texas and Georgia, because I do have 2 plays on that game, and I have a funny feeling Corey may steal one here in the first round. But I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to go off the radar. It is by far and away my favorite game this week. It is East Carolina plus 16 at Army.
Ooh.
So Army is 6-0 against the spread, 6-0 straight up, having played the 156th ranked schedule in the country. Their closest game all year was a 24-7 win over Florida Atlantic. East Carolina has had 2 weeks to prepare. I like the extra preparation time. They're just 3-3 on the season, 3-3 against the spread. Absolutely embarrassed last time out, 55-24, losing at Charlotte. That was a tough loss, okay? Mike Houston is head coach at East Carolina. He's a good football coach, and I have a bias towards the guy because I was in the Fargo Dome one year when he came in with James Madison and eliminated the Bison from the playoffs, something that never happens at the Fargo Dome, and the praise that was heaped on him and his coaching ability was second to none. So that's why I really like this guy. He went 37-6 at James Madison. He went to back-to-back bowl games here at East Carolina. The Pirates were only 2-10 last season. He is now fighting for his job. He is squarely on the hot seat. They had a leadership council meeting this week, players only meeting to set the tone for the bye week. Little extra motivation there. Army's a unique football team, triple option. They've only thrown the football 46 times all year. Coming into the season, East Carolina would have been the favorite in this game. So getting more than 2 touchdowns, I absolutely love the Pirates plus the 16.
Yeah, you sold me. I didn't know what to think about that game. I didn't have that game written down, but the more you talk about it, the more it does make sense. And yeah, Army surprised a lot of people this year. It's crazy to think how good they've been with what they've done, especially like you said, triple option offense, only passing it 46 times a game. Normally in college football, that don't work. But Army game after game is figuring out that triple option, it still has some good in it. So I like the play though.
Yeah, so if you're going to play a triple option, you want 2 weeks to prepare, and that's what East Carolina gets. So that sets up.
Yeah, absolutely. Nope, that's a good pick, and yeah, you sold me with that. I didn't know how I thought of it at first, but the more you talk about it, the more I like it. So good pick.
Yeah, and you just got to assume like at a certain point you gotta buy on the highest value type of moment, and Army and Navy being ranked, like it ain't gonna
Time to sell.
Yeah, it ain't gonna last. It's gonna go downhill at some point in time.
Regression is coming for those teams. Yes.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be crazy if like in a month or so we're talking about Army Navy potentially have a playoff implication if it continues the way it is?
That was something I saw over the week actually, where Army Navy play the Army Navy game the week after conference championships. So they could end up having to play each other twice in a row for a conference title, then their like exhibition title.
Right.
So if one of those teams ended up running the table, that'll get weird.
Because the Army Navy game doesn't count towards the count towards the regular season record? It does.
I mean, at least it always has. Yeah,
I always
that was always the 12th game for both teams.
Yeah,
it counts for the Commander-in-Chief trophy.
Sure. Yeah, I figured that. Okay. Yeah. Either way, like you said, Corey, we could see it back-to-back weeks, and that could very well be a playoff implication game. Mm-hmm. Crazy enough. But okay, sounds good. Corey, you're up with your first round play.
All right, I got two that I love. I'm gonna go with it. These two teams I think are pretty well matched against each other, and I think their defenses are going to come out and play pretty strong to start off the game. And that's going to be Michigan at Illinois, and it's going to be under 43.5. I know it's a low number, it's a Big Ten number, and I know that Illinois just gave a bunch of points to Purdue, but Michigan's also pretty one-dimensional. And Purdue, I think this is one of those games where it becomes like a typical middle of the road Big Ten slugfest. And I think that plays into Bielema. Like that's a Bielema ball game. So I'll take under 43.5 in that matchup with that Michigan team this year.
I like it. Yeah. Like you said, they're about as even as they come. And I don't see Illinois giving up that many points in back-to-back weeks, especially to a team who has a QB that can't throw the football.
Yeah. And you know that a bottom dweller Purdue team or a Michigan team that's ripe for the picking, which one is your team going to get up for? And it's definitely the Michigan game. And they're coming to Champaign. Like that's a prime opportunity for Bielema to just make that shit gross.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I have back-to-back here. My first play, I'm going to go with a first half play, and I'm going to take Missouri first half -2.5 against Auburn. That is at a -122. So we all know what happened the last time that Missouri played an SEC game. They got pummeled by Texas A&M, absolutely destroyed. So they had a chance to kind of recoup themselves, had a massive win last week against UMass, and I think that they're going to start going into conference play with a little more confidence. They don't play Georgia this year. They don't play Texas this year. So they went out. They only have one conference loss. They still could very well be in contention for the SEC championship. So I think they got to come out and be a really solid team. If this was at Jordan-Hare, I would be a little more afraid of this play, but it is at Missouri. So I think they're going to come out firing, and I think they're going to play really good football and try to keep that momentum for a potential SEC championship going. So I'm going to take Missouri in the first half, -2.5 at a -122.
I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, what Missouri did, I thought was embarrassing, but I also don't have a lot of faith in Auburn, and so I think that is a really good get right opportunity. So I'm with it.
All right. Very good. And then my wraparound play is going to be from the game that I think is going to be going to get the most eyeballs on it, because you got the top two teams in the SEC going at it. Hopefully I didn't take it from you, Action, but I'm going to take Georgia plus 3.5 against Texas. Texas currently is getting 78% of the public betting on them. If you know me as a gambler, I fade the hell out of the public every opportunity I can. And I know Texas is playing about as good, if not better, than every team in college football right now. But how often are you going to go to a sports book? You're going to go anywhere and see Georgia plus in the spread? Almost never. So I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity, and I think they can pull it out. I think they could win this game outright too, but I'm not going to be greedy with that. I'm going to take Georgia plus 3.5.
Yeah. I mean, Texas just, Texas last week against Oklahoma, they at a certain point, you got to expect a letdown a little bit, right? Like they're not going to get up like they did last week. They're going to be feeling so good about themselves that this is where the real welcome to the SEC moment happens. And I mean, outside of Oregon, Ohio State, that welcome to the new conference moment hasn't been going very well for the new teams. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, welcome to the SEC, baby.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, yeah, hopefully I didn't steal that play from Action, but I guess when we get to him, we'll find out. But Corey, we'll go to you with your second round play.
All right, so this is the one that I mean, I really did want to take it with my first round pick, but I do try to restrain myself a little bit, but I got to go Indiana, team total under 28.5. I know that this team, I know that their offense has been just lighting it up, but who have they been lighting it up against? You know, Nebraska, I could argue if you go look at the schedules, Nebraska's played 3 teams harder than anybody Indiana's played. I could make that argument. And Nebraska just announced this week that the corner that came in for Tommy Hill, who has been playing all conference level football, got a black shirt. So it sounded like he's going to start opposite of Tommy Hill now. So now we could have 2 all Big Ten caliber corners starting against their passing game. And I'm sorry, but there's probably only one rushing attack in this conference that truly scares me, and that's Iowa's running back. Well, I guess Ohio State's too, yes. But definitely not Indiana's run game, and that's our strength. So, you take a defense that's given up 11 points per game, and you're going to spot them 28.5. I'll take that under.
And what is a line for that?
15.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their schedule, who Illinois played. They played FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern. This is going to be the best team they've played so far this season.
Were any of those teams better than Rutgers?
No, I don't think so.
That's the 3rd best team Nebraska's played against.
Right. I would say out of that list, Maryland's probably the best game, and they put up 42 on them. But yeah.
But Maryland's not known for defense, and Maryland's scored. So, like, the guy's a winner. Cignetti, he's a winner. And don't get me wrong, I think he can easily have Indiana winning 10 games, next year or the year after. Easily, I could see that. But at some point, they gotta run into a buzzsaw, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Nope, I like the pick, and you're sticking true to what you do. I love that. All right, Action, you got back-to-back here. We'll start with your second round play worth 4 units.
Let me read my script here. Georgia will win this football game. Georgia, sure, they gave up 41 to Alabama, 31 to Mississippi State. All the more motivation. I repeat, Georgia will win this football game. I have Georgia plus 3.5, but cross it off since Kyle stole my pick. Let's play the Texas team total under 28.5, even money at the plus 100. Yeah, give me the Longhorns under this number. Georgia is going to win this football game.
I love it. I love it. I was hoping, to be fair, Action, that was going to be my play for the second round, no matter what happens. So you saying that I hope it doesn't get taken did not faze me at all. That was going to be my second round play.
No, I respect that play. It's going to be a fun football game, but Corey nailed it right away. My connecting flight last week was going through Dallas, right? And all the people with money in the first class all had Longhorn jerseys on. And I happened to have an opportunity to talk to a few of them. And I said, if you had a choice between winning this week against Oklahoma, winning next week against Georgia, what game do you want to win the most? They all said Oklahoma. That's to me, it just says, boy, they just played a Super Bowl in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl against their arch rival. And now they have to, worst case scenario from a scheduling perspective. And you got a Georgia team. They just look, it's like they still have a bad taste. That first half against Alabama was so bad. They gave up 31 points to Mississippi State. Who cares? That was smoke and mirrors. They won the football game. They were focused on this week, and they are going to win this football game. And I'll tell you what, I'll even play some alternate numbers here. I may lay more than a touchdown with Georgia at some plus money. That, I could see this being a 2-score win for Georgia.
Wow. Okay. I like it.
That's how much I like Georgia this week.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the SEC.
Yeah. And part of it's timing too. Part of it's timing.
Oh, a lot of that's timing.
Yeah.
Like it's literally the perfect storm.
Yeah. In my opinion, I just love it. The only thing better would have been, a bye week to prepare, but Mississippi State was equivalent to a bye week. And then my wraparound play here, first half wager. Corey mentioned it a moment ago, a regression to the mean. Another great story this year is BYU. They were 5-7 last year, picked 14th in the Big 12 this year. They're 6-0 straight up and against the spread. Yes, Oklahoma State's been struggling. They started 3-0. They beat Arkansas. Since then, 0-3, losing 3 straight to Utah, Kansas State, West Virginia. Last 2 losses have been ugly, 22-24. Things look terrible there. But Mike Gundy gets an extra week to prepare for BYU. BYU has just overachieved all year for me. So I'm going to grab Oklahoma State and the Cowboys first half plus 5.5 against BYU. That's on the road, of course, but something says Oklahoma State is going to sneak up on BYU, at least in the first half of that game, and they may be a live dog in the second half as well, but I'll take them in the first half for sure.
Okay. I like it a lot. And then what do you get for a line on that one?
That one's at normal. I actually got a minus 110 there.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, you're both big on regression to the mean, and at some point, like, BYU's got to make that regression, I would sure think.
I hope so.
Yep. So, okay, yeah, I like those picks. Action, good back to back. Corey, we'll go to you with your third round play.
Yeah, let's see here. I really like those first 2, and I haven't been too sure on what to do after that. I'm going to pick my spot. I think this team is about ready to go into dumpster fire mode, and I think the other team needs a get right moment. I'm going to take USC -7 against Maryland.
Okay.
We're getting to mid-October. October, Maryland is absolutely notorious for not playing football. Let's just put it that way. And then I think that USC has a pretty bad taste in their mouth. And I don't think it's just from this week. You got the Michigan. Like at a certain point, they're gonna really galvanize and say, "Hey, we are still USC. Like we've got to finish this season at a certain level." They're not gonna not make a bowl game their first year in the Big Ten. And so this is one of those prime right for the moment type of games. 3 o'clock kickoff on the East Coast. I know that travel distance thing has an effect there, but it's a nice kickoff time. And I think Maryland's I think they're about to pack it in on the year. So give me USC -7 at -110.
Yeah, I like it. I think Yeah, you're right. USC needs to get going, or Lincoln Riley is going to be feeling some heat, I think, on that seat he's got there. And I think Maryland, that record is very, very deceiving. I don't think they're as good as the record shows at all. So I love the pick.
Just to update you every week, I'm going to update you. Lincoln Riley now 5-8 in his last 13 games at USC.
Jeez, nuts.
Regression to mean, right? Like,
yeah, there you go.
I will never say that Lincoln Riley's a bad football coach. I'm not going to say that.
I will.
That's fine. You can say that. Well, he's great with quarterbacks. He's great at offense. His teams win probably more games than they should. Well, this team isn't winning more games than they should, and this is an opportunity for them to lay it on a Maryland team that's in the middle of October where they play their worst football.
Yeah, no, I love the pick. I really do. So I'm probably going to add that to my card on Saturday. Actually, I won't. I've been doing terrible lately, so I'll let you win that one. Okay, sounds good. I'm just putting down my plays here. So I have back-to-back. I'm going to start with my total, and I'm going to take Colorado and Arizona over 55.5. Colorado's defense absolutely stinks. There's talks about Travis Hunter not playing. It does sound like he's probably going to play, but he's going to be playing hurt, and he's going to be playing both ways. So I think that might have something to do with that defense being poor. And Arizona, their offense is solid. I think that they can score a lot of points there. I don't think it's that hot of a take at all to look at these two teams with Shadur Sanders, Noah Fafita. These guys can throw for tons and tons of yards on poor defenses. I could see this game being a 30-30 classic Big 12 shootout game. I think this could be here. So I'm going to take Colorado, Arizona over 55.5.
That was definitely on my list. I love that play.
Yeah. Fun fact. I took that under 43.5 in the first round, and I have CU at Arizona over 57.5 written on this piece of paper. So,
okay.
If somehow, some way that under wasn't there, that was obviously in the fold. I love that over.
Sweet. I like it. And then I'm going to go to a money line, and I'm actually going to go, might be a pretty shocking money line. We'll see what you guys think. I'm going to take West Virginia over Kansas State on the money line at a plus 127. West Virginia is better than people think they are. Garrett Green is a very good quarterback. The running back duos they got have been very solid this year. The receiving core defense has been their struggle point this year, but I think that they could hold Kansas State. Let me just double check before I say that. Yeah, it's in Morgantown. So Morgantown's a tough place to play. And I think just for how Kansas State nearly lost the game to Colorado, I think they're going to kind of be focusing on the rest of the season. They're going to put West Virginia in the back burner here. I think this is a classic Morgantown upset here. So I'm going to take West Virginia on the money line over Kansas State.
I'm a big climbing guy. I'm worried about the injuries Kansas State sustained at Colorado there. I haven't seen enough on the injury report, but as they were losing everyone in the second half of that game last week, and you had Neal Brown make all the comments this week. This is a big game for the Mountaineers, so I can definitely see them. They're going to be a dangerous dog this weekend.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Him saying like, yeah, winning the game's important, but the biggest thing is I hope those guys have fun. What the hell? This isn't a youth flag football. This isn't like Corey in Action's kids going out there and playing football. This is a college team that you're getting paid big bucks for. Oh, I hope they just have fun. What the hell is that about?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that some parents might have been a little bit concerned about how intense I was being on Sunday because we hadn't won a game all year, and my defense was gonna get right that day. So yes, I hope that kids have fun playing football. But it's a hell of a lot more fun winning. Now, if he had said something like, yeah, we lost the game, but the process, it's something about the process being what wins you games in the long run. Cool. But the fun thing, that's just kind of a little fucking weird.
At the college level, it is.
Yeah, at this level.
At the end of the day, we could hear a press conference on Saturday calling him a genius, though, because he took all of the focus off of the shortcomings of the players on the football field and put all the attention squarely back on him again. It may work for his football team, to be quite honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's some Mike Gundy type of mentality shit right there.
Yeah. I mean, there's some reverse psychology stuff that works out there in life.
There's a Are you talking about the I'm a man, I'm 40? Because there's a difference between that and what Neal Brown did. Mike Gundy flat out called out that reporter.
No. I'm just saying in general, like almost every time that Mike Gundy has this like really outlandish moment that ends up on social media, it does what action just got to.
Sure.
It takes the attention off of the player and puts it onto him. And it's almost like this 3D chess type of moment. So maybe that is Neal Brown's approach, I guess. I don't know.
Corey, when you turn 40, I'm going to be very disappointed if you don't say, come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh, dude, it's going to be all fucking day.
Oh, all-time moment, by the way. All-time moment.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Corey, we'll go to your 4th round play.
All right. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to do this shit. Because I have 2 units and I kind of wanted to do it with the last one, but I also needed a spread. So we'll see what, Nebraska money line plus 195.
There it is.
I believe in this defense, man. I think that Northwestern's defense maybe is the best defense they've played against. And that's not saying a whole heck of a lot compared to what the Black Shirts did last year and have continued to do this year. Like you're talking about a top 15 defense last year, top 10 defense this year. Yeah, I expect them to eat. I expect them to win. I am going to wait until this line keeps getting bigger, and then I'm going to take Nebraska to cover the spread too. So I just, yeah, it's a lot of points. It's a lot.
I had it in my notes, but I merely didn't take it because I had a feeling you were going to. I love Nebraska in this spot as well. I think this is a great opportunity for them, especially after all the teams I listed off. Indiana just hasn't played anybody near to the caliber of Nebraska. I think they could win this game flat out. I like it.
Yeah. I think top to bottom, they're the better football team. And Indiana's defense hasn't looked all too spectacular. So if it's a low scoring game, Nebraska needs to score late, or Nebraska, like you put either situation out there, Nebraska's offense against their defense, I think Nebraska wins that late. You put Nebraska's defense out there late, they've shown to come up big in big moments. So, I just don't think Indiana's been tested like that.
Yep, I agree. Nope, I love the picks. Yeah, it was in my notes. All right, Action, you need a money line and a total to round out your snake draft. We'll start with your 4th round play.
Well, you took my total. So once again, I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, geez.
But I am going to go LSU Arkansas over 55.5. These two teams have left a lot of doggone points on the board this year. I'm looking at a stat here that says there's 134 teams in FBS college football. Is that right, Kyle? You did a preview.
Yep.
Okay. Arkansas ranks 126th in red zone efficiency.
Oof.
LSU ranks 87th. I did not expect to see those numbers.
No, not
so
at all.
They both have left a ton of points on the board when they get in the red zone. I've watched both of these defenses. I don't think they're that good defensively. So I like the offenses. I think we've been talking about regression to the mean all day long here on this show. I think both teams are finally going to finish some drives against a weaker defense. So I think we're going to see the scoreboard light up. So I'll play LSU Arkansas over the 55.5.
Yeah, I love it. And these are two teams. It surprises me, but it doesn't, because these are two teams that love the home run plays. They love just the long scores. So I can see this game being really, really high as well. So I like that play too. And I apologize, I've been stealing all your picks so far. I thought with you being number one, I wouldn't be taking all your picks.
Well, yeah, I like to whine and complain. On the flip side here, I may be breaking a rule. I don't know. I don't care. Because I have a money line left, right?
Yep.
I said at the beginning, my top play, I think East Carolina is winning the football game. So I'll play East Carolina plus 500.
Ooh.
I think the Pirates are winning this game for Mike Houston. Army, I'm not a buyer. I'm not a believer. And you give me a plus 500 swing at them, I'll take it. East Carolina is going to win this football game.
I just looked at my notes. That is the highest money line dog ever placed on this show. That's
well, when they lose
history.
49-0, I'll have egg on my face. But doggone it, I'm going down with Mike Houston in this game. I think he can solve the triple option, and he's going to make Army throw the football a couple times.
Yeah, I like it. Stick to your guns. And if you get that right, you're going to be in the driver's seat, I think. Whenever the
at a certain point, they got to get caught. And if you give the team a bye week to prepare for, flexible and triple option with Division I and East Carolina does usually bring in some athletes. So you should be able to do it. You have no excuse not to.
And part of me goes back to Army was ranked 109th in the country before the season.
Wow.
Oh, 109th.
I'm not gonna lie, man. With everything that happened last week in college football, when the AP poll came out on Sunday and Army and Navy jumped Nebraska in votes and got ranked, and Nebraska sitting there at 27th, I was a little bit salty. I was gonna be like, really, like this is who you put above us. This is who jumped us to get into the rankings instead of us. I'm not gonna lie. Coaches poll, we were 25th. I was kind of pissed. Yes, they're gonna lose soon. Both of them.
Yeah, and hey, if I can take a shot at a plus 500, I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah, that does not break any rules. So if you get that, you're going to be sitting pretty good whenever the final standings come out. So, all right. Best of luck to you, action. Corey, you need a first half play, it looks like.
Yep, Nebraska first half plus 3.5.
There we go.
Love the number. It's just that's just a good number for a team that I think is going to win the game. So.
And it's a football number too.
Exactly. Perfect number.
Absolutely. And what do you got for a line on that?
Minus 110.
All righty. I figured you'd go all in with this Nebraska game and just play every game in Nebraska's favor.
No. And yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I could lose those last two, still hit the under 28.5, and then, still be sitting pretty well over the week. So even if they lose the game, like I can hit 2 out of these 3 and them still lose by 1.
They're going to win the football game. I believe in you, Corey. I like the Huskers this week with you.
Yeah. Well, if they do lose, if they do, it's like 24-17, and they've got an opportunity to score a touchdown late in the game. Like that's or 24-21. Like it's something like that, in my opinion. Like I think Nebraska's defense overall wins the day.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, we'll see what happens there. My final play, I got a team total left. I did some thinking. I've been burned by Kent State a bunch. I got burned by them last week. I got burned by them a couple weeks ago. I got burned by them against Pitt. So I really, really got to thinking, do I continue this trend? Do I continue betting on their under? Do I continue it? I did some reflection. I really thought long and hard about it. I thought about it all day. I saw their line at 17.5. They're playing Bowling Green, who is my pick for to win the MAC. We're going to do it one more week, boys. Kent State team total under 17.5 at a minus 122. We're doing it one more week and see if it works.
I believe in you, Kyle.
All right.
I believe in you.
We're going to do it one more week.
Man of principle. I love it.
And if it doesn't work this week, then I'm going to find another team that's really bad on offense and bet their team total unders. is my plan. But if Kent State continues to go under, I'm going to bet them. But I'm going to do it one more time. And if it doesn't work out for me, you have my word, I will find a new team. Until then, it's going to be Kent State.
I may want to submit an application for Kennesaw State and Troy for you, okay?
Kennesaw State was up for consideration. That's for sure.
They have 2 points. They got a safety tonight, but yeah.
Two tonight.
And Troy, I think, has 1 first down at halftime.
Out of curiosity, what does Middle Tennessee have tonight?
It's a 7-2 game right now.
7-2,
oh my God, they can't even cover the 10 for me.
Well, it's halfway through the second quarter, so I'd calm down. I think the live line, you're still fine.
Okay, well, okay, yep, we're good. We're good. Positive vibes here only on this podcast. Positive vibes. All right, gents. Well, I'll go through our teams really quick, and then we'll do honorable mentions. And then we'll go to our upsets and locks. Action: East Carolina plus 16. Texas team total under 28.5 at a plus 100. Oklahoma State first half plus 5.5 at a minus 110. LSU Arkansas over 55.5, and East Carolina money line at a plus 500. Corey Michigan Illinois under 43.5. Indiana team total under 28.5 at a minus 115. USC minus 7. Nebraska money line at a plus 195. And Nebraska first half plus 3.5 at a minus 110. Kyle, Missouri first half minus 2.5 at a minus 122. Georgia plus 3.5. Colorado, Arizona over 55.5. West Virginia money line at a plus 127. And Kent State team total under 17.5 at a minus 122. So, gentlemen, any honorable mentions that you had that didn't quite make the list that you want to throw out there? Action will start with you.
No.
Fair enough. Corey, any honorable mentions?
Just one. USC Maryland over 57. Just for the fact, like I took USC minus 7. Like I think this is a game where Maryland won't have to score too many points for that over to hit. So that kind of plays along with that.
Yep, that's fair. Couple spreads I like that didn't quite get taken. Fresno State minus 2.5 against Nevada. Nevada stinks, and I think Fresno State is starting to figure it out here. So I like Fresno State. I took Missouri in the first half. I also like them full game minus 4.5. And then the other game I had was and Bowling Green minus 20.5 against Kent State. I think they absolutely blow the doors off them. So those are going to be my honorable mentions. But gents, let's dive into upset of the week and lock of the week. So how upset of the week works, we'll start with that, is everybody in the panel must pick an underdog of at least 7 points, and they must win outright for you to get the win. Current standings right now, Action and VFC are tied at 2. VFC did correctly pick Vanderbilt over Kentucky last week, so he is now tied with Action. PG, Beast, and Corey all have 1, and Pace and I are tied for last. We do not have one yet, so hopefully we can get one this week. So let's go through our upsets of the week, and I will start. I'm going to go to the Pac-12 Mountain West, and I'm going to take Oregon State over UNLV as my upset of the week. I think Oregon State is a really, really solid team. I think UNLV regression to the mean. I'm gonna keep saying it. I didn't know how good UNLV was gonna be. Hodge Malik Williams, excuse me, is playing really, really well. But I think Oregon State's a solid Pac-2. I'm gonna call them a solid Pac-2 team. They've been playing pretty solid football so far. I believe. Let me check this before the game's at Corvallis, which is a very tough place to play. And I think they can pull off the underdog win here. So I'm going to take Oregon State over UNLV as my upset of the week. Corey, we'll go to you with your upset of the week.
Go Big Red.
There it is. I figured as much.
Yeah, I just don't get me wrong. If it's a one possession, I'll put it like this. If it's a one possession game going in the fourth quarter, I have already lost all hope. They have to prove me wrong at this point. But I do think talent level wise, I do think Nebraska is a more talented team. I think they faced stiffer competition. I think they're more battle tested. I think they have the better quarterback. I know Rourke is playing really good football, but I think, the biggest argument I have in the group chat is where Dylan Raiola ranks. And a lot of it has to do with what I've seen so far and what his potential is. So I think Raiola is the better quarterback. I think they got the better defense and the better quarterback. So even if Indiana might have a better head coach, I think the better team wins.
Oh, I love it. Got to stick with it. And Action, your upset of the week.
Well, I mean, I've picked East Carolina and everything this week, right? So that should be my upset of the week, but I'm not going to go there. This is just going to be personal. Certain things, certain people get under my skin.
Oh, no.
One of my very, very best friends in life, he's been sending me, excuse me, he's been sending me text messages 52-6, 42-7. That's what the text messages continue to read. That's how bad Wisconsin beat Purdue. That's how bad Wisconsin beat Rutgers. He is talking trash, saying that Wisconsin's going to win the rest of the year by 3 touchdowns or more over everyone they play. So Northwestern is going to get the job done for me this week and upset the Badgers and shut him up. I don't care how bad you beat Purdue. I don't care how bad you beat Rutgers. This week, Northwestern wins.
I love it.
I love it so much. I love it so much. Honestly, I saw that and I was like, with the way Wisconsin's playing, the way Northwestern's playing, -7, like maybe it's Wisconsin, but it's also on the lake. Like it's and Northwestern likes to muck things up when they're playing right off Lake Michigan with no wind barrier. So, go ahead and try a dairy raid when the winds are 35 miles an hour swooping off the lake.
Yeah, it won't be beautiful, but I think they can win the football game.
Absolutely. All right. I love it. I do not have plays for the other cappers, so that's going to be it for upset of the week. We will now round out the show with lock of the week. Lock of the week is very, very simple. If the lock hits, you get a win. If it doesn't, you don't. Or in Corey's case from last week, you might get a push. So you could get one or the other. So Corey did get a push last week. But as far as the standings go, VFC
Hold up. That was bullshit. I know you were watching that game. He missed that field goal.
Oh, for sure he did.
He
Yeah.
missed that field goal.
Yeah, no, you got screwed big time. I was just thinking about that because I looked back at it. I'm like, oh, Corey got screwed on that big time. If you don't remember, he had Washington first half team total under 10. And if that field goal would have missed like it should have, he would have gotten the win there.
Dude, everybody in the stadium, all 80,000 of you guys saw this, and it was clear as day. Like it's hitting the upright, or it not even hitting the upright. Like that. Oh my God, that was so bad.
That was bogus. But either way, you got a push. You didn't get a loss, so that a push is better than nothing. But standings right now, VFC's in first with a 3-2 record. Myself and Pace are tied at 4-3. Corey is in fourth at 2-4-1. Action is in fifth at 2-5. PG's in sixth at 0-3, and Beast is not rated right now because he's only been on 2 shows, but Beast is 1-1. So let's go through our locks of the week. In Action, I know your voice is getting tired, so we'll let you go first. We'll start with you. Your lock of the week.
Georgia.
Don't need to say much more on the spread.
Georgia. Yeah, Georgia's plus 3.5. Like I said, I'll play them an alternate number. They're winning that football game. I think they win it by double digits.
All right. I love it. Corey, we'll go to you with your lock of the week.
Black shirts. Indiana team total under 28.5.
There it is.
I love this defense so much. So much. It's not even funny. I was getting really annoyed at the Northern Iowa game, and then Illinois did what they did, and then all they've done since then is just play lights out. So give me that defense.
All right. Sounds good. I love it. To round out, this team on the other side kind of screwed me on my lock of the week last week, but I'm going to go against them one more time, and I'm going to take Rutgers -4.5 against UCLA. UCLA absolutely stinks this year. Rutgers has been playing very, very solid football. I've talked about them in the preseason show, how much I like Kyle Monangai, how much I like that Rutgers offense, and I think they're going to absolutely tear apart UCLA in this game. UCLA is not very good. It's like Corey's talked about. It's one of those Pac-12 teams that came over to the Big Ten and is not ready for Big Ten football. And I think they're going to experience it bad this time in this game. So I'm going to take Rutgers -4.5 against UCLA.
Love it. When I was looking for a spread, that was one of the ones that I kind of paused at and was like, oh, I like that one too. So,
okay.
Great bounce back spot there. Love it.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I love it. Well, gents, this was fun. Corey, we will see you in a couple weeks. Best of luck with the black shirts in Indiana. And yeah, we'll be excited to see you. And if you're if they get a big win and they might be in the college football playoff, you're always welcome to come back next week and talk about it.
Yeah, if those rankings drop and the committee gives them more credit than the AP's been giving them, you might you might see me just drop on for a couple minutes next week.
That's fair. Yep. And we'll be happy to have you if you do. Action, we'll see you next week. Hopefully you get over your Jordan flu game here and you can start feeling a little better after that vacation you went on. Yep. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Fanatics. Tune in next week. We'll talk about the college football playoff rankings as well as do a snake draft for week 9. See you, boys.